son of a bitch.
Hit you with the drop kick, Marty Jannetty. No, I hit you with the drop kick, Marty Jannetty. No, I hit you with the drop kick, Marty Jannetty. No, I hit you with that drop kick, Marty Jannetty.
I gotta work on that, Bobbito. We'll figure out how to get that audio to play the same song.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome back in to the latest edition of Tag Wrestle Corner. After somewhat of a brief hiatus, coming into the new year, still having a little bit of technical difficulties, working on some changes. As you can see there, those will be all finalized for you coming up shortly. But with that being said, this being a truncated short show, we wanted to come in and touch down on what happened last year before we get too far into this year, and it just don't make sense to do it. I'm one half your host, Rob.
I'm Clint.
And this is Hot Tag Wrestle Corner. This week we're not talking about what happened on TV this week, but we will touch on the Rumble because that was the nearest biggest pay-per-view show that happened within the last few weeks. Also, we will be giving our list of our best wrestlers, matches, tag teams, and breakout stars from AEW and WWE, the main shows in the States. But our list also consists of wrestlers from, I'm sure your list has some women from Stardom. Mine has some wrestlers from New Japan also.
Watching a lot of Stardom.
And then I have criteria for what I pick my wrestlers for on my list. Not that the matches weren't the same. Those are just purely the best matches I felt like. But wrestlers, I had a criteria I stuck with, which for me, which was you had titles, reign, and not popularity, but use on the card. Meaning like,
yeah, I get what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying? Like, Seth Rollins is gonna rank higher than like, say,
a Gunther or somebody like that.
A Gunther's actually a perfect example. Yep, you know what I'm saying? So, all those things tie into it for how I did my list. So those are actually, I kind of got it set to a pretty good order, and it was based upon also time in the ring factored into it too. Because I had people on my list that weren't necessarily wrestling all of 2023. They happened to return from injury in 2023, but I thought they were still good enough to make my list, or what they did in last year was good enough to make my list.
I kind of did mine like that too, but also I kind of did mine in terms of like, I looked at kind of like, your growth basically. Like if I knew you already had main event star potential, but it just showed out this year due to, not your fault, due to the bad booking decisions and everything like that. So I got some wrestlers on my list that kind of put it on towards the end of the year, but my opinion made enough of an impact to where you could put them on top 10 list of wrestler of the year. So, but yeah, main stuff, factor, main event, titles, they all put a terms of how my list was too, though. In terms of matches, I did memorable, basically. Like I can remember like moments like all the matches on my top 10. So.
I feel you did, brother. Well, with that being said, you said we had a couple news stories that you did want to touch on.
There's a couple real quick.
All right. Well, while we do that, you have something immediately you want to bring up, or you want me to start?
You can go ahead and start.
All right. So, first one I had bringing up was some people that are defecting from the East coming over this way.
Just if you can, just stick 24 and 5, so you don't get froze off. It's got two of the same cameras on it. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Is that okay?
Yeah,
I'll fix that stuff. Get up.
We'll make it work. All right. So, my first story I had here was for some people defecting from out east, possibly coming over this way. First of being, in both, one more long time name over there than the other, and at times it's kind of surprising because his father was a long time over here in the States, and he hasn't been over here on a major scale before. But that being Tamatanga, well, formerly of Bullet Club, I don't even think he rock with them no more over there now. He recently just beat Carl Machine Gun Anderson for the Never Openweight Championship at Wrestle Kingdom 17 about a month ago, a little over a month and a half ago, today's the 18th, so, and that was on the 4th. So yeah, about a month or 2 weeks ago. So 6 weeks. Let's give it 6 weeks. About 6 weeks ago, and he looked great in that defense. There in a pretty good match, even though they blew a spot at the end where he was going for his move, the cutter. It was pretty bad. But either way, they recovered from it. So he's one name that's possibly coming over. And the story that I have here, coming out of the interview in Yahoo Japan, New Japan Never Openweight champion Tamatanga said that WWE interested in hiring and considering it. And his confirmed report was last month. He said, quote, I always the guy at the top. Look for what I have accomplished in my short career in Japan. I started from the best unit ever, the Bullet Club. I was ostracized. Nobody believed me, but that's okay. All you need is yourself, and all you need is to believe in yourself, and I will be the best wrestler. I could be the ultimate legend in New Japan, or could it be in WWE? Because WWE is knocking hard on the door, and I might say hello. End quote there. The second name I said was a possible defector, also from the same group, ironically. Though it hasn't been shown the door from the group from what I've seen in their interactions in the group. But after his recent run, though he was on top for a while all of last year and he just recently lost the belt, but it's Jay White. Story is coming out that he may possibly be on his way to WWE. Also, if I can find that story, it's not pulling up for a second. I'll come back to that. Third one that's a possible defector to WWE that we have is Kota Ibushi. He said he would like to go there if he can be like Shawn Michaels is and work at the Performance Center and train the future stars of the company. That's where he's thinking. So I think he's thinking long term, like, all right, my time is starting to wind down the ring. What's going to be my second phase of my life career type of deal, you know what I'm saying?
Respect that.
I'm assuming that's what his thoughts are on that. More on that story. His thoughts about going back to WWE, like I said, to train stars. The Dark Hero Flosion caught up with New Japan alumnus and asked about the potential to join WWE. According to the account, Ibushi told them that he would most certainly work with WWE as long as the company was allowing him to train and create the next generation of wrestlers in the Performance Center. Some high-profile matches were on the way. As he previously said, he'd be interested potentially join the company again. He's currently a free agent. If you remember, he had that beef with that falling out with New Japan's leader last year. And he had came out, said they're trying to play him and different types of stuff like that.
Yeah, I remember that.
When he was coming back from injury and stuff. Or trying to make him come back from injury too early, I do believe was part of the thing. So there we go with that. The Jay White one, I will find that for you, but I just had that 2 seconds ago. So I'll get back to that in a second. Did you happen to have any news you want to drop on the phone?
No, unfortunately, no. I don't have no no news. I have probably a lot of news next week though, but not nothing this week, unfortunately.
That's all good. Well, let's jump over into the Rumble and any other news stories I'll say for next week. We got some juicy ones concerning Randy Savage and Vince McMahon.
Yeah, man.
You know what I'm saying? And Kenny Omega, I can drop this one now too. I'll say this one that is we have for you is Kenny Omega. They haven't announced the date of the game coming out, but they did confirm the reason why it took so long for the game to come out is because they were trying to fight for a certain rating for the game. They were looking for a team rating for the game, or I'm assuming not a rated R, but I'm sure they wouldn't have been upset with it. But they wanted at least a team rating. They didn't want a kid rating. That way they can have blood and go a little beyond.
I understand.
The female wrestlers in the graphics address a little racier. There's like some butt slaps. Somebody said the word shit in the game. So I guess they're trying to get that, with the blood also. So they're trying to get all that. So now they have that. The game should be getting released relatively
You gotta have it much animosity be bleeding.
Yeah, no, he bleeds every match. As far as he has blood left to bleed. Last thing we'll say before we get into our Rumble, we also want to talk the prediction for Elimination Chamber. Will you be able to pull that up?
Yeah.
Okay. And we're going to give, like I said, our best of 2022. We had some people that passed in our time recently, and there's pretty many that we're forgetting, so please don't hold us to us. We're just taking to the most recent we could think of since we've been off air in the last couple months. But recently we lost, the wrestling world lost Jay Briscoe in a car accident. They lost Lanny Poffo, I believe, maybe from a long-time disease. But Lanny Poffo was the brother of Macho Man Randy Savage, obviously. He was a genius in the WWE also. Jay Briscoe, who I just mentioned a second ago, who we lost in the car accident, real name Damon Pugh. And finally, recently, this past week, we lost the father of, you know what, because in respect, I'm not going to say it that way. And we'll get back to calling him that next week. Jeff Jarrett gets a break this week. You know what I could say. But his father's bad. His father was one of the toughest dudes in history I've ever heard of, and he ripped a man's eyeball out in the ring. So, on that long, he got to get some props.
Mm-hmm.
So, we got to put Mr. Jerry Jarrett in the gangster lane. And he almost, at one time, could have been, I don't want to say the owner, but the person in charge of the WWE if Vince McMahon would have went to jail in the early 90s on that steroid charges.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's who they said. They said that he was next in line. He would have been the Triple H, role or whatever you call it. But we want to give all them a quick moment of silence. All these men will testify for the accolades and contributions to the beautiful sport we call professional wrestling. With that being said, a quick moment of silence. All right. Well, we'll see them on the other side. Let's move on to. Let's get into recapping the Rumble.
Yeah. Okay. So, come to the Rumble. I mean, probably gonna try to run through it real quick. It was first they started off with the Men's Royal Rumble. I mean, everybody knew who was winning it. It was gonna be Cody. So the thing that stood out was shout out to Gunter. He broke the record for the longest time in a Rumble with over 63 minutes. Kofi missed his spot again. It's the second Rumble in a row he missed his iconic Rumble spot that he usually gets. I felt the men's Rumble, they just used the prolonged storylines. Like Brock Lesnar came in here, eliminated 3 people. Then he got eliminated by Bobby Lashley. He set that feud up. Seth Rollins and Logan Paul, I think that set something up between them two. Nice double spot between Ricochet and Logan Paul. Like, fact that he came up from that torn MCL, PCL, that quickly. That quickly. But at the end, it came down to Cody and Gunter, and Cody gets the win. Cody gets his moment.
Now, Gunter gets a shine up for staying in the ring for that damn long.
Yeah, he do. He said 63 minutes. He beat Rey Mysterio's record for in the Rumble. So, props to Gunter. I mean, take off from that. They prolonged the Lashley Lesnar feud, which they did, but it was a normal Rumble. No surprise entrance except for Booker T, who came out, did a bookend, a spinner Rooney, then just got tossed over immediately in the ring. But it was a normal middle of the road Rumble for me. I mean, usually with the men Rumbles, you want surprises because everybody knew Cody was winning it. So they even did the patented John Cena when he comes out 30. So next was I call this match basically just a match because Mountain Dew, all sponsoring Mountain Dew Pitch Black. That's what this match was like. It was.
His match was horribly ugly, and I'm not sure why.
Yeah, first of all, he had stuff with like a bunch of like green neon. But we all knew who was winning this match. I mean, L.A. Knight, Puma Aces had a nice spot where he like ran off the barricade and sent it through the table, but he ain't really had no say in the match. The end of the match was you finally see Uncle Howdy get into some action. He just like flew off like a stage or something and drew L.A. Knight. So next was the women's championship match between Bianca Belair and Alexa Bliss. Another match that we already knew the outcome of. This storyline was just more to see Alexa Bliss like slowly going back into her old Lily character, which I think they will do right this time because Triple H actually gives Alexa Bliss creative control in her character. So unlike that, so that was a okay match. Then we had the women's Royal Rumble, which shout out to Rhea Ripley. I got that one right. I knew she was going to have to say it. She has to win it. And I like that they gave it back to her because she was supposed to face Bianca Belair at, was it Money in the Bank, I want to say? But she had to get dental work done, so it wound up going to Carmella, so I'm glad that they gave it back to her. Ben Rhea Ripley, she's been killing it this year in terms of her work with the Judgment Day. I like the fact that they like actually got her like, they ain't covering up her tattoos no more. Like I guess Triple H like, go ahead, rock out, do what you want to do. Shout out to Liv Morgan, she's getting overlooked. She came in second in this match and stayed all the way to final three.
I got some love for Liv Morgan later on in the show.
Final three. I mean, shout out to her. I mean, some other people that stood out. I don't care nobody.
Wait, no. That seemed pretty creepy. The way I just creepy and said that in the video. It's not like that. It's not like that. I was talking about our best stuff. I got nothing.
I knew what you
I
meant.
didn't screw the pooch you gave me. We'll get there.
Yeah, so shout out to Liv Morgan. I don't care. She ain't been anything there a year. Man, shout out to Michelle McCool. She just kicking people ass and
I like it.
She in the family, the kid.
You see it coming a mile away. But I like how she played it off like she was ringside. I was like, oh, kids. Well, I gotta go get in the ring now. And just had gear on already.
Right. They was like she was kicking ass and like basically the story is also too story from the thing between Becky Lynch and Damage Control. It was a point where Damage Control was just taking out everybody. Becky Lynch came out there. I think she took out both members of Damage Control, but Bayley took her out. Prolonged the feud to that. They're probably setting up down the line for Mania. But Dark Asuka came back, which I love.
So wait, hold on.
Yeah.
So Murder Clown looking Asuka is not just a new thing. It's a certain.
It's her
so
thing.
she'll go back to.
That's what she was. That's what she was.
To a different version of Asuka sometimes.
No, that's her. What's her name? That was her. Like when she first started like Japan. Like that was her.
Oh,
what's that? Yeah. So, yeah. So she wound up. End of the match, baby, with them three on the outside fighting. She went to spray the mist to Ripley, but Ripley ducked and it hit Liv. That got Liv taken out. Then Asuka got taken out later, so Ripley got her moment. So she's going to Mania, which she had to pick her challenger for her title. We will talk about next week's show who she decided to pick her challenger as. And then our main event was Roman Reigns versus Kevin Owens for the Universal titles. A lot of funny moments in this match. Like one when my favorite moment was like Roman was saying like, "Get the chair." They're like, "But you told me not to do anything." I said, "Get the chair."
I gotta say, this has been one of the best storylines they've had in years. The way it's built up with the inner turmoil of Sami Zayn. Is he Uzi? Is he not Uzi? They finally start to trust him, then it's gonna flip for the turn. So it's crazy, and we'll talk about that more next week. We'll talk about the results from the Elimination Chamber and where everything stands from that. But I've been enjoying this recently. So I just wanted to cut in and say that. Go ahead.
Oh no, you good? Yeah. So basically the end of the match was Roman Reigns. He knew was retaining, but was after the fact that they beat him down, and then they tried Sammy to like give him the chair and tell do it based on like. You brought you in our family, like he's destroying our family. He not with us, he against us. And then Sammy come pull the trigger. That's his best friend for like 20 years. And then Roman started mushing him in the face.
But he pulled the trigger though at War Games though. So
yeah,
it's like he wouldn't.
He pulled the trigger, and then Reigns just mushed him in the face, and then he basically just boom took out Roman Reigns with the chair. Then he basically got beat down for his effort. I love the fact that Jay basically just walked out. He wasn't like, but the thing that made it better was somebody put a clip of Roman saying something to Solo. It was so wrong because they walked around. Roman's like, "This is war now. This is war." I look like, bro, you keep it in character all the time. And you look like, "This is war now." And Solo just like, busted him like so. It was that was Rumble. I mean, in a nutshell, like I said, we are kind of in a short, compacted show, so we ain't go in depth by everything that usually happens. Just a quick result. So that stood out for the Rumble. So.
Heard. All right. So with that being said, let's get into Elimination Chamber and predictions.
Yes, I don't have a pen. You got a pen?
Yep. There you go, sir.
Thank you. All right,
I
so
really want to go to this double shot, but it's kind of froze. But y'all know what I look like, so that's fine. Go ahead.
okay, so no particular order. Universal Championship match. Roman Reigns versus Sami Zayn. I mean, this right here. This is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking they might do something to where they might set up a triple threat at Mania. But unfortunately, I think Roman's walking out with these titles.
You know, to be honest with you, let me ask you this question. So, have you ever heard of the theory where... Okay, I'm going to pitch it to you two different ways, all right? So, first of all, and I'll make it quick. So, you ever heard about why Naito is where he is, like in his storyline with New Japan?
Okay.
So he won the G1. I think this was 2013 or 2014, right?
Right.
So he won the G1, but they took away the main event from him. Like, you know, like that's like their Royal Rumble thing. Like if you win it, you get the main event of Wrestle Kingdom. They took it away from him and instead made the main event Shinsuke Nakamura versus, I want to say, Hiroshi Tanahashi for the IC.
Go Ace.
Something like that, right? I'm not quite sure of that, but it was something around those lines. So that led to him, you know, being Los Gobernables, being pissed off. You remember the part of his reign when he used to take the belt and
Just beat it on the stairs.
Shit out of it. That's why. Because he was always pissed off about that. Then they almost did it again to him a couple of years later when he finally did get a shot at the top and got the main belt and to be the main guy when Jericho came in and he had his match against Kenny Omega on the same card. Because it was the co-main event, even though Naito's match against Okada ended the show.
Yeah.
And it was a great match in and of itself. Anyway, so I feel like if I'm Cody, do you feel like that? Is what I'm trying to get at. Like, I'm like, man, no, man,
Well,
I mean, one-on-one match.
I mean,
bruh.
you can, but at the same, but you also have like 2 nights of May. So it depends on what they do. It depends on what they do here.
Because they could be like Daniel Bryan when he had his shot at it at 30, and it was like, oh, we're adding him to it, just making a triple threat made it better than if it would have been just Batista versus Randy Orton. Nobody really wanted that. I get that. But if I'm Cody, I'm like, man, I ain't come back to get my solo shine for y'all to add somebody else to it to make it more convoluted.
I don't think they will. I think that's why they put the match here. So I know, but also too, maybe Sammy can win one of those belts though. Maybe he do win, and he just take. Look, they are on different shows. I mean,
Are they going to split the belts again? Wouldn't that be going back to split brand?
I don't think they will split. I don't think they're splitting them belts, to be honest. That's why I'm going with Reigns here. I get it. It's hometown, Sami Zayn, crowd gonna be behind him. There's gonna be so many close falls in this match that Sami will pull it off. But I think Reigns ultimately leads with that championship.
This is the closest Vince man will ever see that man holding that world title. And unfortunately, that man was big enough to live in there.
So,
All right,
I'm going with Reigns.
me too.
Next is the Elimination Chamber women's match for the number one contendership. Spoiler alert already. This person gets Bianca Belair. Because you got Asuka versus Liv Morgan versus Nikki Cross versus Raquel Rodriguez versus Natalya versus Carmella. Let's rule out. You got
Rule them out as we go. I just don't know what you're about to say. Go ahead.
You got Asuka, Liv Morgan, Nikki Cross. Probably can mark her out. Raquel Rodriguez, Natalia, and Carmella.
Okay.
Well, let's take out who's not winning this thing. Carmella, Natalia, and Nikki Cross. That leaves you with 3. You got Asuka, you got Liv Morgan, and you got Raquel Rodriguez. I would love to see a Raquel Rodriguez versus Bianca Belair, but I'm going with Asuka here.
About to say, you know what I'm about to say.
I like
man.
Asuka here. Asuka. I'm going with Asuka to win this.
Murder Clown Oscar, though, I think she's going to put Belair over. I don't think Belair's going to do it. So. For some reason, they don't like to give her that spot in Mania because they should have gave it to her when she faced Charlotte years ago when she had first came up, which was coming off her excellent run in NXT.
Well, yeah, I remember that was Vince running
it.
it. Yeah, it's Triple H doing it, so it might be different.
Maybe.
Next, the Elimination Chamber for the United States Championship match. This one has Theory versus Seth Rollins versus Montez Ford versus Damian Priest versus Johnny Gargano versus Bronson Reed. Wait,
give me the participants one more time because I'm gonna let you speak more on this because you're next week.
You got Austin Theory versus Seth Rollins versus Montez Ford versus Damian Priest versus Johnny Gargano and versus Bronson Reed.
That's on the next channel, right?
Yes.
Ooh, that's gonna be fun. If I'm gonna go with my heart of who I really want to win right now, because he deserves some solo shine right now, I'd probably say Ted. To be real with you. And then did you hear if he wins, he says he wants to face Ford at Mania for the belt.
Oh.
Montez.
Oh.
I'm geek. Hold on, sorry. He wants to face Dawkins. I just said he wanted to face himself. So Montez Ford wants to face Dawkins if he wins the U.S. title at Mania.
That's how you break up the Street Profits?
I don't know if that's necessarily what he was pitching.
No.
He didn't say that in the article. I saw that. He just said it'd be cool to face his boy there for the belt on the line. I kind of think Austin Theory retains somehow.
I'm going with Theory because I think if they pitching Theory versus Cena like they're pitching it so heavy, Theory will
But you
probably
need the
retain
belt
with
for that.
that.
Remember, you don't always need the belt for that.
You don't, but I think Cena's going to put him over if they do, so to just make it that much more credible if Theory has the belt.
But then here's
But I don't know.
the method part is my argument to my own thing that I just said is that you can make a Seth Rollins, then Seth Rollins can take on anybody and doesn't have that belt on the line.
Yeah.
Seth Rollins is that good.
I would love to see Ford versus Dawkins. I think Theory retains, though.
How many more matches we got on there?
2. I mean, if we're the same, we're the same. I mean, we just doing it honestly. Like that's how I like to do predictions. I mean, we do.
I'm gonna go Montez Ford, but
are you going for it just to be different? You ain't gotta go for it.
Really why.
You ain't gotta go for it to be different. We can both go with Theory. I mean, we doing the championship predictions all over again. So if anything, the belt just be held until Vegas till we,
All right, I'm gonna go Montez Ford because I truly believe we can win it. But I know he's probably not.
Okay.
But I'm gonna take that as my pick anyway. See if I'll be surprisingly right.
Edge and Beth Phoenix versus Finn Balor and Rhea Ripley. This one's a tag match.
Edge and them is putting over Balor.
Yeah, I agree too. I mean, Ripley she got to go on a dominant run to Mania.
Yeah.
Like she has to. So I agree with you on that one. This one might be split up. Bobby Lashley versus Brock Lesnar.
What's the step?
No, it ain't one.
Here's the question. And it's based off of what you just said. Like, Rhea Ripley needs to have a good run going into her Mania showcase coming up, which could be a main event of one of the nights. They tend to put the women's match in the main event of the night. And in my mind, I think her versus who I think you're going to say she's probably choosing to be her main event, would be choosing to be her opponent, would be more of a main event than who Bianca Belair would be taking on, I would per se. That's not a knock on her. I'm just saying in my choice of the two matches. Now, so that's what would come down to the winner of this match for me. Who do they really have in line that they're thinking about, like either one of them?
You know what's crazy?
I haven't heard anything
I
about
do.
who Bobby Lashley's facing, but didn't they have a name for Brock?
I gotta. The thing if I do it, it's gonna be another spoiler alert to a prior show. So you just do it anyway?
You mean a future show?
Yeah. Should we just do it anyway?
Yeah, I mean, we can re-talk about it.
All right. Okay. So Bray Wyatt challenged the winner of this match.
I heard about that. I heard about that.
Hey, you know what? I think this my thing on it too. I'm gonna go with Lashley because I think the Hurt Business some kind of way it gets in this match and they kind of get back together some kind of way.
All right, so they've already been teasing that because he's been MVP has been already accompanying Cedric Alexander and Cedric Benjamin to matches that they've had in tag matches.
They were almost flopped, so anyway.
I'm not saying to win or loss. I'm saying
I'm saying
like they might be bringing it back together. Maybe that's for the purpose I'm saying. Here's the other thing about it. Now, you can get great stuff with Bray, and neither one of these are Bray's fault when I say this. Or you can get stuff with Bray. Like the stuff what happened when they remember he was with Randy Orton and they got Alexa Bliss involved and they had that like light him on fire match.
Yeah.
It was my But then you had the stuff like with him and John Cena for Mania, that one Mania. That was awesome. You know what I'm saying? So it's really about how much the person that he's really working with wants to give. So of those two men, which one of them think would want to give more in the match?
Oh, it'd be Lashley. It'd be Lashley.
So there you go. You know Brock's lazy. He's not gonna want to make it.
And also, he's not gonna want to. He's not. Lashley won't mind putting over Bray and look strong doing it.
Right.
Brock will want to win. So we're going Lashley. I'm going Lashley.
Yeah, I'm going Lashley because I think they're gonna bring somebody in. They had different plans from Lesnar. I think Lesnar will be there, but weren't they talking about Lesnar Gunther?
Yeah, I can see that.
So he could win. Going into that.
They previewed that at Rumble, actually. They had a little face-off.
Exactly. So he can win going to that and give him momentum for that. But then again, he doesn't have to win because his name is
But if he go against Gunter, Gunter has to go over.
Yeah, so then he would have to win going in because you wouldn't have him go in like losing and then lose again. It's Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
You got too much fly for that.
Brock ain't losing two matches in a row. Brock ain't losing 2 matches in a row.
Yeah.
All right, so final predictions are we are agreeing on Reigns, the women elimination chamber, and Edge and Beth versus Finn and Ripley. We are different on Lashley and Lesnar. You're going Lesnar. I'm going Lashley, and we're in the United States Championship elimination chamber match. I'm picking Theory to retain. You're going with Montez Ford.
Yep.
4. So that means hopefully after next week when we review Chamber, hopefully somebody had a championship. Hopefully. Now, we close it out to our end of the year. Where do you want to start this off with?
Obviously not the match because I told you I was kind of short on that, so we're going to get on that one. But we'll start with our wrestlers.
Male or female?
Let's go female. I think mine would be. I want to hear what you got on. I think we'll be more aligned in the men than women.
You want to alternate it back and forth?
You can.
All right.
Bottom to the top.
Yeah.
All right.
I'll start with some honorable mentions. No, I might wait because my honorable mentions might be on your list. So I'll probably get them off at the end. Number 10. I went with Liv Morgan.
Same.
My opinion, greatly improved. You want to talk about somebody that started off that couldn't wrestle and worked her with her and Naomi are like the queens of it. Because the fact that they actually put in the work and put so much into their craft. I mean, her day one match against Becky Lynch stood out. And she won Money in the Bank. Ain't her fault they pushed that whole run, like the thing with her and Ronda Rousey. They literally had the fans turn. The fans literally turned against Liv Morgan. It wasn't Liv Morgan's fault at all. It was the booking that made the fans turn against her. She's back like super over again. So I got Liv Morgan 10. You said you had her 10 too?
Yeah, and I'll give it away here too. I had her as my breakout women's star from WWE to me. She took that much of a step to me. She made herself a main event player. When you can put her name next to anybody in the main four, including Rousey, who's not in that main four. I'm just saying Rousey up there with them, but the main four, you know what I mean. Well, she ain't there anymore now with Sasha, but Bailey, Charlotte, and Becky Lynch. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not gonna be like, oh, that's obvious. Like, maybe not. She's shown a lot of fire recently, and that's hasn't been any feud because I've seen her feud she had right after the Rousey feud, and she showed great fire in that when she kept beating the crap out of
Sonya Deville.
Yeah, Sonya Deville backstage. Thank you for filling in there. Down on my drop in, Monty. So I agree, and it's funny that we both had her at 10.
But I think she will be higher on this list.
She may be higher on this list in the future. Yep. I was literally gonna say that.
Number 9. I want Toni Storm.
Again.
And this is why I got Toni Storm 9. You gotta remember, she spent the first year of 2020
We're both the same.
without a job. Without a job.
To world champion.
Yeah.
So that's why I had her on my list too.
And then her match against Athena, Britt Baker, and her match against Serena Deeb. I mean, like, you can't ignore it. And I love the fact that Toni Storm actually finally get to show what she would do. She haven't been dominating matches like this in NXT UK.
True.
NXT UK.
True. She has a good feud going on.
8.
Right now.
8. I got Jade Cargill 8.
Wow.
And this is the reason I got her low. I get it. The undefeated streak. I get it. She ain't really had nobody that stood out to me during that streak. And not only that, it's like her matches ain't really that good to me. It's probably the booking. It's more their booking. Probably her. They don't really put nobody up against her that can really give her a challenge, probably. But I also think it's because I think Tony Khan thinks she's still green in the ring and not all the way there yet, so you don't want to put her up against nobody. I'm sorry Chris Statlander got injured because I think that would have been a hell of a match between them two.
Yeah.
Chris would have made her put that work in, but I got her 8 in it just because of the fact that I get it, she's still free, but streak wasn't really impressive to me.
All right, here's one thing. So I have her a lot higher, so I when I get there, I'll bring it up. But since you brought her name up, I'll speak my piece on it now. I feel like they have kind of slow walked her, but she's gotten better over time, and her matches are good. It really depends on the opponent that you give her. I think when you put more of a skilled wrestler in here, in the ring with her, you get better matches out of her. The only wrestlers I know that don't have, they obviously have more talent than her because she's very new to the game, but don't have a lot of ring experience in the ring with her that has good matches is like Red Velvet. But if you put her in there with say a Sky Blue or one of them cats that be, or one of them ladies that be on darker elevation, she dog them, and it's not really you don't really care about the match. But when you put her in there with the better vets, if she's in there with the Nyla Rose match was good. I'll give you a match that was a blowout, but was good because of the opponent. Clint, what's the name of? She just brought her in from Impact. She was 5-time champ over there.
You're not talking about Deanna Barata.
No. It's off the top of my head. I forgot it right now.
Oh, Madison Rayne.
Madison Rayne, thank you. She had good matches. She should have been a 5-time champion
in Impact. That's just Impact being bad booking.
Okay, listen. I'm just saying.
No, I get what you're saying.
Her ring veteranship is just what I'm speaking.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So when there's more of a seasoned wrestler in there, you get better matches. That's why I would suggest one of her next feud being against, say, a Serena Deeb. I think that would be awesome. That she can learn. Serena Deeb is actual quality opponent for you.
Yeah.
Believe because you will fold her because nobody else has been done that yet. Nobody's tried to submit her all like that. So I think that would be dope. But like I said, that's where it comes down to with Jade Cargill. I have her higher on my list, and it's because of the title reign. And yes, I understand the title reign they gave her to help build her up. But, damn it, I said that tied into my list. I said belts matter, title reigns matter. And damn it, she had both. Held them shits the whole year. So she got to be higher on my list. But when we get there, I'll tell you.
I understand. I understand your argument for Jade Cargill. I do.
If you watch, that's what I'm saying. If you watch her matches, bro, it's literally that. If it's somebody who is skilled in the ring, they'll put her over right. If it's somebody that's at her same level or below,
she'll squash
it don't come off right for the other person.
Yeah.
At all. Go ahead.
Number 7. My number 7 no longer works in the company.
Wait, hold on. Wait, skip. Sorry. I gotta go back.
Oh, yeah, who was your 8?
My 8.
Yeah.
You'll like this name. You'll know it. Kyrie Sane.
Nice.
The first official IGPW Women's Champion. Also held a belt, I believe, in Stardom at some point in time last year. Now I don't know
Yes,
about
she won
Stardom.
an inaugural tournament. She won an inaugural tournament for the championship. So she
Okay, so I don't know as much about Stardom as others do, but you know what I'm saying. I knew she had won that leading into the IWGP win for that women's belt. Recently, just faced off winning and retaining in the main, not in the main event, but on Wrestle Kingdom. It was in the middle of the show, and then the debuting Monet. Is it Money Monet or Monet Money? Either way,
I think it's
Banks.
Money Monet.
Sasha Banks, who she's going to be in New Japan. She'll be facing her soon. And actually, the match is here in the stable. I think it's that battle in the battle. Which should actually be a pretty good card from Japan. Some other matches they're going to be on. Either way, I thought she had a good year. Like I said, titles come into it. She won multiple during the year, built her name back up. A lot of people thought she might not be coming back to wrestling for a while. I think she had got married. They thought she retired, but she said,
I thought she retired.
I got a trick for you. I just want to get from under that damn WWE umbrella. So I'm showing her some love on my list. So I've thrown her in the grave.
My number 7, like I said, don't work for the company no more. She has held a belt for. She actually broke a record with her championship reign, and that's Mandy Rose. Somebody a demotion. Like, again, I don't consider you going down to NXT a demotion like some people do. I don't consider it a demotion. But like, I mean, just look, and again, somebody else that like
I had her as an honorable mention. Real quick, also an honorable mention I have to say is Camille down in NWA.
Yes.
NWA don't get no love, but she's a beast. She's so prototype of Charlotte Flair to me, except not as glamorous.
Yeah.
Not that she's an ugly woman at all. She's beautiful, but
she don't carry herself.
She don't carry herself like Charlotte do.
Charlotte will carry herself like a queen. And
yeah,
like,
she literally
she's not
play
like
in
that.
it all. That's what I'm saying. But Camille's a beast.
Yeah. Mandy Rose. I mean, some of her matches. I mean, her triple threat match against Cora Jade or Raquel at this time Gonzalez. The stand-up deliver fatal 4-way match with again Cora Jade, Io Shirai, and Kaylee Ray before she became Alba Fire. And then the worlds collide. The triple threat match between her, the last Emperor, and Blair Davenport was an underrated good match. Also, first, I mean, main look at the look because she came out there rocking the USA attire. But also, too, she broke Charlotte Flair's reign for NXT longest most consecutive days of NXT champion, like 414 days. So she got that reign now. So Mandy Rose, I do believe, deserves some credit. And she's somebody else that improved gradually throughout the course of the year. And also, too, I mean, just the way Toxic Attraction just elevated with like Gigi Dolan and JC Jane and all them. So it's just like, yeah. So Mandy Rose deserves. Also, too, she's making a killing on
OnlyFans.
on her fan time account. So
Fan time, whatever it's
yeah. So number 7, I have Mandy Rose.
At number 7, I have Miss as I pull my scene up, Bailey. She's coming back from her injury.
God, she didn't make honorable mention.
She come back from her injury, bringing up
And that was a tough
chicks
one.
with her, and that's why I have her on this list. It's not just because of her own work has already been great. It's because she came up and advocated to bring up Io Shirai with her, along with Miss Kick,
Dakota Kai.
So, hey, I love Miss Dakota Kai for a while. I think she's been awesome.
Yeah.
I think she's great as a face. She's been even better
She's
as
better
a
than
heel.
heel.
You know what I'm saying? But she was a good face for a while. I remember her chase against Shayna Baszler, and she just could not beat her at all. It just didn't work. And then eventually, she snapped at that War Games, and then that like put her over. And
Yeah,
now
she turned on Tegan
now.
now.
You know what I'm saying? Left the company for a minute, came back, all that good stuff. So, for the fact she brought them two up with her, they got Damage Control, they got the women's titles and what they doing, and her name's still up there in main events and women's matches. Bam.
Yeah. Props to Bailey. So on number 6. Number 6, I have Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. Now, kind of didn't have a successful year like she has in the past. I think she kind of been more pushing people over. They've been using more as a mentor with Jamie Hayter and everything like that. I mean, she did win an Owen Hart Owen Hart Foundation tournament. My thing was the one promo she had against Soraya, but I think she said, "This is my house. I don't do walk-in, bitch." Nothing like that. I'm like, yes, line of the year right there, right there. So, and then like I said, all the matches she's been in has been good. I mean, in the Fatal 4-Way matches she was in, so she's my number 6, and I think I only put her 6 just because of the fact that like her win-loss record this year hasn't been as good as it has been in the past. But at the same time, though, she also they're using more as a mentor. What's in it? And she's the perfect person for Soraya to come back to the feud with.
I have her later on my list. I'll talk about her when I get to her then. Sticking to the list. Got about 35 minutes left for this stuff. We got enough time to finish stuff, I think. I'm going with Rhea Ripley.
Honorable mention for me.
She has such
And
a great year.
she was so close.
She had such a great year to me as the only
She ran to
woman,
get her late.
as the only woman in that group. Without her, what's her name would be random as hell right now.
Dominic,
yes. She's helped me.
the fact that she made him. I should have put her in my list just because of that.
At the same time, and now we're going to see more of her dominance, I think, in 2023. Rhea Ripley.
My number five had a busy year. First of all, let's say the name probably not coming. I got Jordan Grace at 5. Now we're gonna show Impact some love. I mean, she was in the Knockout Ultimate X match. That's a match with dudes, Trey Miguel and all those guys. She feuded with Matt Cardova. Beat him, lost to him twice. Then multi-universal matches, and she was in the Ultimate X match. Then she teamed with W. Morrissey at the Impact World Tag Team Championship. Won a Knockout Championship in the Queen of the Mountain match. You remember the King of the Mountain match, the whole with the reverse, wasn't it? The Penny Box won that. And then her title defense against Tasha Steele, Mia Yim, and shout out to somebody I love, Masha Slamovich. This chick on the indie scene, she runs like 48 promotions this last year. And she fight dudes, bro. Like she like a bigger version of like Candice LeRae in terms of fighting dudes all the time. Like that's all she do on the indie. She fight dudes. Dude. So have Jordan Grace 5.
My number 5, Ronda Rousey. Wasn't there the whole year, came back, went right back into her spot of dominance. Wrestled a little less cringy than she did her first time to me. I'm kind of salty that they're not going to have her main event match from what I'm hearing with Becky Lynch. I guess that's out of the cards. But I felt like, sticking to what I said, titles, reigns, where you are, stacking the decks in the card, she's the main event there. So,
number 4.
Number 4, mine's quick because I already talked about her. Jade Cargill. That was my number 4. Like I said, reign, titles. That's what added to it. That's why I put her at 4. She had the damn belt all year. Even if they did make the damn thing for her, basically. Still. If Chris Statlander, like you said, wouldn't have got hurt, they probably would have took it off her and put it on her. But since she did get hurt, it's some buzz cannons and nuts we don't know. So, Jade Cargill. Go ahead with yours because you have more time.
I think you'll love my number 4. My number 4 won a championship on St. Patrick's Day Slam. Defeated Nyla Rose at Bound of Belt. Had a great match against Serena Deeb. Toni Storm. Maya Yamashita at Fight for the Fallen. And her match against Jamie Hayter. And that's Thunder Rosa.
Yep.
Rosa. Now, she probably would have had the championship all year if she ain't had the back injury, unfortunately. And again,
she had a lot of drama backstage too. They could have took it off her for that.
Again, like you said, title and reign, and much that she's kind of like not liked as much, but she was a dominant championship when she had that belt.
No, based upon my criteria for how I feel about this, you're right. She should be on here. I made a mistake. I fought it.
And so I got Thunder Rosa 4, and she deserves her props. No matter what people say about her, she.
My top 3. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
We're going at number 3. I'm gonna jump in for you just because we said her name already. Real quick, another one. Britt Baker, DMD. The reason why, because she's their pillar. She's their Charlotte. Without her, she's like adding a spice to the food that makes it more flavorful. In any women's match you put her in. You know what I'm saying? She is the opposite of her wrestling has grown so far leaps and bounds. Remember, we saw her back in the day on that same AIW show. We saw MJF and forgot about it. That was here in Cleveland. But she's grown leaps and bounds to the point where she could pretty much go in any match against anybody they have for her. And it's still at least a decent enough match. And if the person in there is talented enough, that match could be possible women's match of the year. And she's had those with the likes of, say, Thunder Rosa. Not so much yet with Saraya. She had a good match, but the Thunder Rosa match was better than that. The Thunder Rosa match showed the peaks that she could climb to with some of her competition in the ring. And like I said, she's a pillar there. So that's why I have her at number 3.
Okay. My number 3. Now, my number 3 is Siri. That's from Stardom. I was
waiting for her to start.
She was number 1 on the PWI Women's 150. She won the World of Stardom Championship at her defeat, and I've been practicing named Yutami Hayashishita. Then she defeated Julie Utani, Tam Nakamura.
Hayashishita was on my top 10 last year at number 10.
And Sasuke Kayatani. She is dubbed the Brock Lesnar of Yoshi wrestling. And just for shits and giggles, she didn't fall in the UFC for a little while. So, I mean, yeah.
She won enough years. All right, that's your number 3?
Yes.
What you got number 2?
My number 2, it's the man Becky Lynch.
Huh?
Hear me out. This is why. It's a reason I wrote it. It's a reason I got her too. First of all,
she almost made my list and I had to slide her off the honorable mentions when I thought the other 10 before. I'm like, yeah, they all got claimed. She missed a lot of the year. But go ahead.
Now,
I know it's your girl. Oh, here you go.
Okay, so again, the day 1 match against Liv Morgan. The match she had against Royal Rumble against Doudrop. She was champion in those matches. That was a damn good match we had with Doudrop. We give out her Elimination Chamber match with Lita. Which she finally got into the heel character that we was all expecting her to get into. And then, of course, the whole thing, she lost Bianca Belair. She went super crazy. That was some more of her good character work. Then you look at her feud with Asuka. People forget she feuded with Asuka throughout the course of that year, too. And then the Money in the Bank match. Then, of course, the separated shoulder, which she took some time off at her match against Belair. But then she came back, got the win for Team Belair. She pushed her back into the what's the name, so... I mean, she missed some time. Yeah, she did, but I mean...
But number 2?
I got her at 2.
Wow.
I can't ignore it. Can't ignore the year that she had. I mean...
So my number 2 is controversial. So you ready? Not to me, it's not. I have reasons, but you ready?
Go ahead.
My number 2 is... Give me some hater rate. Jamie Hayter.
Wow.
Of AEW. Yes. The rise of the haters. The reason why is because
she got my breakout star for AEW.
Me too. That was the other one breakout was AEW. My other women's, I said Liv Morgan and Jamie Hayter, my 2 women's breakouts of the year. For that reason, her breakout status, she's basically become the face of her group right now because she surpassed Britain. She's the champion, even though I know that turn is going to come eventually around the corner. Eventually, especially with the fans getting behind Hayter the way they are now. This woman puts in hard-hitting matches. And this is without the need of plunder and it being a street fight or anything like that. She had a match, and this is from this year. This isn't even from last year. And I'm going off of last year's work, but I'm just using this as an example. If you see her match against Emi Sakura from earlier this year, it was like in early January. I want to say it was like a main event of a Rampage. They went so hard. It was raw because there wasn't no chairs involved. It wasn't no outside interference involved. They were just beating the shits out of each other. Like they went like women's strong style on some New Japan shit. Like literally Jamie Hayter's chest was red. I'm like, you don't usually see that in a women's match. They was going hard at each other. And with kickouts, near falls, like her title defense she's actually, I feel like it's an actual fight for her. It's not just like Jay Cargill's, where it's like if the competition ain't stacking up, it's not going to be a good match. Everybody they put in there with her has been a good match. Even the match where she took the title, which I didn't see coming from Toni Storm. So, Jamie Hayter's my number 2. I didn't give a damn if it was controversial. She's the current champion right now, and I feel like it would deserve to be at that spot. Even if it did just come in full gear.
All right.
We're probably both the same on number 1.
Yeah, number 1 I have Bianca Belair.
Obviously.
I mean, come on.
I'll let you take the reins on this one.
Like it's the EST. I mean, the longest championship reign for an African American was over 200 days, which is shocking. It was that low. I mean, we have to get she won the Rumble last. At the beginning of the year, lasted 47 minutes in a Rumble. And then I mean, her match against Becky and Asuka at Hell in a Cell. The match she had against Becky at SummerSlam, like Mania, like it's just been Belair's year.
Yeah.
And she has not stale yet. Like that's the thing. Like people are not fatigued of Bianca Belair. So, and we got
she's by far the best woman in wrestling in any company right now to me. So. Gotta give it to her. All right, over to the men. Starting at number 10, I have Gunther. He held the IC belt down. He just he has a magnetism for belts because if he gets him, he's not losing that boy for a long time, no matter what belt it is. Whether it be from outside appearance or help, like he can hold his own by itself, and he proves it all the time. Gunther's my number 10.
We speed through these a little bit. My number 10, I have Sheamus.
You love Sheamus.
Banger after banger this year.
Sheamus has rapidly become one of my favorite.
And after the fact that he had the neck injury that you thought he was going to retire, he had been putting on. I could honestly say Sheamus has not had a bad match in all of 2022. He had not had a bad match last year.
I can honestly say he maybe hasn't had a bad match in about 2 or 3 years for real.
Yeah.
Everybody he worked with be raw for real, and he put it over. I don't know what it is. I can't help it. Name them. Literally, you could just name them, and they had a banger for real against whoever. Against Gunther, bangers. Against Drew McIntyre, bangers. Against Kevin Owens, bangers. Even if the matches he had with the piss match against Jeff Hardy wasn't bad, you know what I'm saying? He always had great matches. So I feel you. He's one of my favorites all the time. Number 9, I have Jay White in New Japan. He had the belt for quite a long time this year. Surprisingly, took it from Okada in the middle of the year before dropping it back recently. Yeah, but he's been their number 1 gaijin during some pretty rough periods where he's kept his name up there with some other, namely gaijins maybe trying to come take his place, like the names of El Desperado or Will Ospreay, which I think Will Ospreay's got that now. But and like I said earlier, it's like maybe defecting from Japan, so maybe a swan song there. But in this whole time there as the leader of Bullet Club, he's had the belt a couple different times. He's pretty much Grand Slam champion there. He's pretty much held every belt they've had outside of something that was led to a tag division. So I'm just saying on the solo side. But he still had a great 2022 back in March.
My number 9, I have Sami Zayn at 9. He kind of got there like towards the ear. I mean, we can't get about the match against Knoxville at Mania 38. It was just a funny match. The choke at that time, which is a rare occurrence when that happens. But then of course, work with the bloodline. I mean, so I have Sami Zayn at 9.
All right. Well, at number 8, I have my man Sir Kenneth Omega. Just because it's big time anytime he's in a match. He missed a lot of last year, but for the time that he was there, he was champion part of last year before he had lost it earlier in the year. And I loved his reign with that. He tapped a lot into, not his tough side, but at least the facial hair of his face. Tapped into a lot of Harley Race with that. Don Callis and a lot of the studios made a lot of funny spots with that. And that's what I do. Every match is in his always awesome. So
number 8, I have Chris Jericho.
I can see that.
I mean, he's 52. He's still
And he doesn't
he's
look
still
good.
reinventing himself. Like that's the thing. He's still reinventing his character. 52. So I have Chris Jericho at 8.
He was a champion last year.
ROH.
Okay.
And also too, his leadership following the whole fallout from the medium scrum. That's another reason too. The leadership he showed. Like that's one time you need a leader. And
Yeah, it's funny you said that. Speaking of media scrum, number 7, CM Punk. You get no matter how controversial it may have if they say it's ended, because I'm hearing rumors that maybe he may come back. I don't know how that'll work, but anyway, and that's what I've heard rumors and they come back to WWE, rumors and then come back to AEW. Who knows? Either way, but his run while he was there was pretty awesome. He's on one of my matches of the year list with his feud he had with MJF with the dog collar match. He was the world champion during last year. He had a lot of other great matches. The one with John Moxley was with him, but I can't totally put that on him. It took two to tango. So, CM Punk 100%.
my number 7. My number 7 might be it's not a controversial, but it's a shocker. I got Dax Harwood at 7.
As a solo.
Yeah.
Okay.
Look at the matches he had. CM Punk,
He had some good
Brian
matches. I
Danielson,
think.
Will Ospreay, Jay Lethal, Adam Cole. Cole. Like, and he just showed that he's not a tag team wrestler. I mean, like, he even the match he had against Cash, like, that was a good match. Like,
Yeah, it was. I love that match.
so I have him at 7.
All right. Number 6. We got about 20 minutes left here in the show. My number 6. Adrenaline in my show. He's in our intro. Of course, I'm gonna put him in there, man. Cody had a great year. Had a couple great matches. One of his matches, I actually had the whole damn series. Yeah, with him on my match of the year with Seth Rollins, but especially the Hell in a Cell match where he fought through the torn pectoral muscle that was all purple and stuff. So Cody.
My number 6, I have Brian Danielson. I mean, he's another person I'm putting above the shame that's never had. His only bad match 22 was that match against Matt Menard. That was it. But every other match he has been a banger.
That's because that was Pokey as well.
Yeah.
And that's literally, I think, his gimmick on love. He loves that shit. All right, number 5. I have a tie. I cheated, so I have 2 people on my number 5. But it's funny, they have a Twitter beef, and if they ever had a chance to be in the same company, they would obviously hook up in some matches. And that is Seth Rollins and Will Ospreay. Will Ospreay's had one of the best rises over last year, was a champion, had some great matches. I had a great match. That's a match I was forgetting that goes on my list. Damn! Thank you. The match he had with Shingo last year, I don't think it was at Dominion. I forgot the show was that, but that match was just that. That match was awesome. It was for IWGP Championship. I believe he dropped it to Shingo there because he had to go off and deal with the injury possibly for a little bit, but then he came back. He had his match he had last year with, remember this, because we saw it live, with Orange Cassidy at Forbidden Door. That was also on my best matches of the list. He's done a lot. Can't wait to see he's champion again over there. I see him as a top guy. He's already started off 2023 great, won the match of the year already in this year, and it's only been 6 weeks into this year with the match he had against Kenny Omega at WrestleMania 17. So that doesn't count for this list, but what he did last year does count for this list. Will Ospreay and Seth Rollins self-explanatory. Like, he's the ultimate lean-on guy to me in WWE right now. You can put it with anybody, he's gonna put a good match on him. You put a belt on him, he's gonna make that belt be relevant. He's gonna just be a bagger face. At this point, face or heel, but I think they finally learned their lesson. It's gonna be a heel. They still love him no matter what, but he still leans more heel. So Seth Rollins and Will Ospreay.
Right. My number 5. I have MJF. I mean, I get it. First of all, the pipe bomb promo he just looked like he got that far. And then, I mean, the whole feud with CM Punk. I mean, we was there when he basically just took a crap on Cleveland. Like, he wasn't nothing. Nothing. So I got MJF 5. I mean,
At number 4, I have Daniel Bryan. He was a pillar for AEW. He's a pillar for any company. He's in relatively, if you look at his career. Put on a great match with everybody he was in the ring with. It's self-explanatory. Damn right. Definitely.
My number 4 you already mentioned, so I'm just gonna say and then we're gonna move on. I have Will Ospreay at 4.
Osprey at 4. Okay. One you already mentioned is my number 3. MJF. Self-explanatory. Honestly, he did what I think they should have did with CM Punk when he won the belt in WWE in 2011, except he didn't have the belt this year, where he had, he didn't feud with the company necessarily, but MJF had his feud with Tony Khan. CM Punk, had his contract dispute. He disappeared. And then he surprisingly came back, and how they built him back into it and finally getting the belt on him. I loved how they did that. He's one of the hottest, he's the best promo in wrestling. He's one of the most controversial people in wrestling. And he tried to live his gimmick to the fullest outside of wrestling, to the point the man had a beef with Sherry Shepherd last year because she wanted to autograph for her son. And I think he either dogged her about her weight or shake it out her face or something. She was not on it. She fought him out on the show. I remember it. So MJF is my number 3.
My number 3, it might be a little controversial. I got Roman Reigns at 3.
Wow.
I mean, I get it. I did with the bloodline. But like the man only fought like 12 televised matches last year. Man, he see Roman Reigns on TV. We see him every week almost, but he ain't fought that much. Like he just mainly fights on like pay-per-views now. So I got him at 3.
All right. At number 2, the man who bleeds too damn much, Jonathan Moxley. I mean, every match he has is compelling, no matter who it's with, whether it be Shota Umino, whether it be with Takeshita recently in AEW, anybody you can name in there. It's going to be rough. Though, for some reason, it seemed to be a little bit of oil and water with him and CM Punk, but I don't put that on him. Punk had a lot of injury proneness during that whole thing, and then he went total asshole with his backstage antics during the end of All Out, you know what I'm saying, with the media scrum and everything like that. But that's here nor there. Speaking of Moxley, he's just a beast, and anytime they need him to be that guy, he's that guy for them there, whether it be being the leader of the Blackpool Combat Club, whether it be after what happened with Punk, putting the title back on him for a minute till they put it back on MJF, or put it on MJF for the first time, I should say. Jonathan Moxley, my number 2.
All right, we got 15 minutes left.
Yep.
Number 2, you already mentioned him. I got Seth Rollins at 2. I mean, consistency. I mean, it's just, but I feel like he's one of the main people that you need to carry your show. So, I mean, and he shined while putting others over. Because his year, basically, him been putting people over. Like, he had the most losses of this year. Which says something because of the fact that he's 2 on my list. And he had the most losses like any superstar WWE last year. So, and it mainly been him putting people over. So, I mean, he's number 2. He gets his flowers. He damn sure deserves it.
My number 1, you already said, is not controversial. I'm going with, what PWI and everybody else would say, because it just makes sense, and he was. Roman Reigns, the most dominant, the most consistent. Though he had 12 matches, every one was pretty much impactful.
Yeah,
he had one of the best damn storylines all year with the building of the bloodline. Though it's sagged and stale at some points, the damn storyline is still going on at this point to this day, which I have to give props to WWE for, but we know how shitty they are when it comes to continuity. So for the fact that they've been able to play this whole thing out for this long has been awesome. I even wish they still would have been able to tie The Rock into it or something like that, but I know schedules didn't work out and everything like that. But for me, number 1 was kind of an obvious one with Roman Reigns, though.
Yeah, my number 1 already been mentioned. I got John Moxley 1.
I can see that, too.
1. I mean, again, after the whole Mania scrum, just his leadership. And the fact that he has had the championship, he won 3 times. And the fact that, 41-8, I think was his record. 41-3, my fault. He only had 3 losses. So, that's the male list. We're gonna do tag team next, right?
Yeah. Also, let's get the breakouts. I said my women's breakouts. Did you say both of yours? Mine were Jamie Hayter and Liv Morgan for me.
I went with Jamie Hayter and Roxanne Perez.
Roxanne Perez. Okay, and then my men were Hook and Austin Theory.
I went with Gunter for men.
Okay.
And I went with Dante Martin for AEW.
Good choice. I can see that. That's a good choice.
Mm.
I can see that. He's a little bit of a better in-ring than Hook is to me. Right now, he's on the exciting side at least. But I like Hook. And the wave of fan and he's built behind him so fast and everything. You know, some of that might just be tied to Taz being the daddy. Either way, I think he's been doing a good job. As far as the tag teams.
Just run through them.
Yeah, let's do it. 5, I had the Street Profits. Good enough to make a name, but they weren't good enough to get the belt off of the Usos. But honestly, I don't know if you can name me a better number 2 in WWE right now than that.
5, I got Death Triangle.
Death Triangle, nice one. At number 4, the Young Bucks. Kept the names relevant, but weren't really that much in the main event scene. And to their credit, honestly, because they're the heads of their company, they could have been ego-driven and just been like, put the belts on us, and let it revolve around us, and they didn't. They put on other tag teams to help build up those tag teams in that tag division in AEW. So I got the Bucks at 4.
4, I have the Acclaimed. Love Homegrown. You threw these two together in the pandemic era, and it worked. They got scissoring over as a thing.
It's funny you say that, 'cause for me, at my number 3, I got a flip-flop. It's kind of a tie between interchange either one of these at 1 or 2 or 2 or 1 for me. The Usos and the Acclaim.
Okay.
I thought the Rise of the
You got them
Acclaim-
3, 2? 3 and 2.
I got Acclaim written at 2 and Usos at 3, but
Okay.
I honestly could see Usos at 2 and Acclaim at 3. I just love how they basically built themselves. Well, like you said, they threw them together in the pandemic era and they got themselves over. At first, I thought it was cheap, but then it became catchy and it caught on, whether it be the rap thing or the scissoring or adding Billy Gunn. And how that's all played out so far, you know what I'm saying? They got themselves over and built their own movement, so I gotta give them props for that. And then also, the Usos, I mean, they were dominant, no matter how much you like it or not, and how WWE tends to book and use their tag teams. I mean, they're relevant. They are the ones, and they kept trying to throw their best they had at them, and every time they knocked them down, you know what I'm saying? Whether that be the Street Profits, or another challenge for the New Day, or whether it be Otis and
Gable.
Shoes, that dude, Gable, or it be Randy Orton and Matt Riddle. They ran through everybody they had there, you know. So I gotta put them there somehow.
Well, I had the Usos at 2. I got the Briscoes at 3. I mean, remember they won not only they matches against the Bucks FTR, but they won the Impact Tag Team Championship. They won the Crockett Cup, which is NWA.
Oh, last year I didn't. I
Last
wasn't
year.
here. They won all that.
So I got them 3. I'm assuming our number 1 is the same.
Yeah.
I'm assuming it's FTR.
Yep.
I mean,
7-star FTR. They held all them belts. I mean, it makes sense to me. If you go belt collector in one calendar year, I mean, it's obvious you're gonna be number 1. All right, about 8 minutes left in the show. All right, let's get into some of these matches. Now, yours is going to be easier than mine is because mine's kind of cheating because I don't have a full 10 matches for both. But I do have more than half for both, at least. So I can at least say that. So I'm not going to be super sure.
you want to start the mail first?
1 second, son. Dropped my phone as I came off camera. Sure.
Okay. Well, so you got 5. I'm just going to run through them real quick since we kind of short on time.
Yeah, we can do that.
10, I have Sami Zayn versus Johnny Knoxville for Mania.
You love that match.
I do. Bro, he lost by a giant mouse trap, bro. And then also, Wee Man basically, like, scoops him, then got his face kicked in. Number 9, I have the Acclaim versus Swerve and Our Glory. 8, I have Bryan Danielson versus Adam Page from Dynamite. 7, the Shocker. I have Logan Paul versus Roman Reigns. And this is because of the fact that Logan Paul actually proved to me that, like, he takes this seriously. And then 6, I have Punk versus MJF, the dog collar match. And then since you got 5, we can probably cut into our 5. Huh?
Yeah, damn.
I like the match that I have 4 better.
All right, so let me see. All right, let me get through my 5, and you can tell me your top 4 because I only have 4. I have 6 on it, so I'll go through mine, and you can go through the rest of yours. All right, so at this is no particular order actually mine. Number 10, MJF versus CM Punk, Double or Nothing 2022, the dog collar match, definitely. Cody Rhodes versus Seth Rollins, Hell in a Cell 2022. This one, I don't know if you said this one. Blackpool Combat Club versus Jericho Appreciation Society. It was like Falls Count Anywhere match.
I remember that.
Eddie Kingston was involved in that match. It was a nuts match. It was awesome. Had to have that on there. The series this year, I think it was only 2 of the matches were this year, and 1 was maybe in 2021. But the Briscoes versus FTR, one of them was a dog collar match. The other one, when they beat him for the belts, I think it was earlier in the year. I forgot what the stipulation was on that match. I don't think it was a straight up one-on-one. Anyway, so that I also had the men's war game match from last year. I like that a lot. Basically, it was a bloodline versus almost everybody else. The WWE Cavalry, if you want to call it that or whatever. That was pretty good. Love the ending to that, so I had to have that on there. And then my final, I had to have Will Ospreay versus Orange Cassidy from Forbidden Door. Not only because we were novelty of seeing it live, and there may never be another pay-per-view like that again, unless they do it again this year. If they do, it's rumored I guess it'll be in Japan or something like that. But well, it was just a great match. One of the best matches. It was a fun match to watch. Melding of 2 different styles to come together to make an amazing match. So that's my 6. So I'll let you go through top 4.
Yeah, well, we have 3 of those matches. Number 5, I have Rainmaker versus Will Ospreay, the G1 Climax final. Ospreay still couldn't get the win. He tried. He continued. I had a Briscoe versus FTR, the third one, final battle. That was the dog collar match. 3, I have Orange Cassidy versus Will Ospreay.
Yeah.
2, I have Sheamus versus Gunther.
Good match. That was a good match.
And number 1 is the Hell in a Cell match, because that was just an audience that was just like a selling point. Like, when Cody took that jacket off and then they played on the run stuff, went for that spot, but also played the save to protect Cody, not sure he not really hurt him. Again, why stuff is number 2 on my best male list, because stuff like that. So, then go to our females. You want to do the same? Ladies? Okay, number 10, I have Meiko Satomura.
I got 5, so go through your bottom 5. I'll do my 5.
Lab Emperors versus Roxanne Perez from NXT.
Okay.
I have Charlotte Flair versus Naomi on SmackDown. And
I remember that. That was a good match.
Thunder Rosa versus Serena Deeb at 8 for Double or Nothing.
That was good.
Nothing.
I remember that.
7,
I forgot about that match. That was a good one. They had that on my list.
WrestleMania Backlash, Charlotte Flair versus Ronda Rousey, the I Quit match.
When she was beating her with the kendo stick?
No, this was when, they beat the crap out of us with kendo stick, but them shots was improvised, though. Some of that shots wasn't scripted. I feel like they literally had hatred. 6, I had a triple threat match at Hell in a Cell between Bianca Belair, Asuka, and Becky Lynch. Remember, this match was not supposed to happen. It was a banger of a match. So then we get to 5. Guess I'll start my 5 off. Kari versus Mayo Atowatani. This is the Stardom Historic X-Over match. This was the first women to main event a new Japan show, and this was the IWGP Women's Championship match. So I have that at 5. I have Bianca Belair versus Bayley at 4 from Crown Jewel. 3, I have Jamie Hayter versus Hikaru Shida versus Holiday Badge at 3. 2, I have Bianca Belair versus Becky Lynch, WrestleMania 38. And number 1, I'm about to get you with this one. Azumi versus Starlight Kid. This is Stardom. This match here, watch it, bro. It's Macho Man versus Ricky Steamboat with Ricochet and Ospreay, bro. They just went at it. And it's called the High Speed Championship, and it's speed.
Speed. With Ricochet and Ospreay. Oh, like that.
The flipping busted that, yes.
Yeah.
And then also it played on their history, because the history was Starlight. And by the way, Starlight Kid's a star. Starlight Kid, I want to say, is only 20 years old. And she's the only one in Stardom that wears a mask, but it's a black mask because she's dark. She turned, so she's the only one with a mask. So.
All right, so my 5 right quick. Since I couldn't match up to what you're doing there. Great job there, son. Dynamite drop in once again. Monday.
Okay.
So my 5 I had was AEW with Sheeta versus Serena Deeb, their best of series they had last year. I thought that was great.
Great matches.
I thought that was underrated for where the showcase at the time they were shown on TV. Women's War Games match from last year I thought was pretty good.
Honorable mention.
I had that on there. I thought that was pretty good.
They killed it too for the first Women's War Game match too.
Jamie Hayter versus Toni Storm. Hayter getting her first title, winning it off of Toni Storm. I thought that was a great match. And also, at the same time, even though she's a tweener, for me, it was almost a for a woman's version, I guess you would say, of Bret and Stone Cold, because they flip-flopped at that point. That was the point where Toni Storm was still a face, but then she started turning dark side with Soraya, and they started spray painting the other chicks and stuff like that. While Jamie Hayter, yes, she's still a tweener, but this is where I feel like she's almost elevated past the status of Britt Baker, or at least in her group, if not in the company. Because like I said, Britt's always going to be a pillar, but the fans love her. You start seeing more signs for her now with instead of the Gatorade, the Haterade, and stuff like that. Once it was already culminating to that point, the pot boiled over once she got that belt. So I had to, this was that culmination at that point. This one, I can't remember all the participants, but I can give you some of them. Anna JAS is in the match. The Bunny was in the match.
I know what match you're talking about.
I think Ty was in the match, and I think Penelope Ford was in the match. It was a street fight, but it was a women's tag team match, and it was on a random rampage. Man, props! It was up there almost on the level it's almost on the level of the St. Patty's Day match between Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker, which is the greatest women's match in AEW history to me. Just because of how hard they were going at each other in this match, and they had another one last month of January. We'll get to that later. And then my last one, obviously, Bianca Belair versus Sasha Banks, the night one main event of WrestleMania this year. So with that being said, back to this double shot. It's 3:30. We got to get out of here, but we're back, and we'll be adding a little more changes here as the show goes on the air. But we got to move on right now, because we end with our man, Ron Simmons. So, one half of Tag Wrestle Corner. I am Rob.
I'm Clint.
And peace out. So, hopefully,